going to explain something no one has told you before. There is a single word so powerful that when a man hears it, no matter how strong his ego is, his armor begins to crack and his true self starts to emerge. Listen carefully. This is not a compliment, not "I love you," not "I need you." It is something extremely simple but so powerful that the nervous system of a man perceives it like a healing balm, and his inner guardian begins to surrender. I will tell you what that word is, and more importantly, the mindset that must come with it. I will explain how it works like a hidden code in the mind and soul, and how it can stop the ego's resistance and reach the most authentic, masculine essence inside a man. Let's begin. First Kia, the guardian of the fortress. I will explain why the male ego builds walls against love. Have you ever noticed this? A man who initially seems warm and deeply connected suddenly becomes distant and emotionally closed the moment he senses emotional depth approaching. Why does a visible wall suddenly appear right when you reach his most vulnerable and real self? Here is the truth almost no one tells you. The male ego is not an enemy. It is a guardian, a protective inner fortress. In a world that often punishes emotionally expressive men, it is a shield built to prevent weakness from beings. Carl Jung described the ego not as an enemy, as a structure that keeps the self functioning in the... For many men, this structure is formed around a silent message learned early in life. If you show emotions, you are weak. If you hesitate, you are not a man. If you need support, you are inadequate. So the ego builds a wall or a fortress of control, logic, independence. Behind it, the true self, the vulnerable, emotional, authentic self is locked. Not because it doesn't exist, but because it fears rejection, collapse, or emotional destruction if revealed. A story, Sam. Sam is 37, a successful engineer and team leader. People admire him for his intelligence and problem-solving skills. But in relationships, he shuts down emotionally. When his partner Ashley asks how he feels, he responds with logic. It's not a big deal. I'll handle it. There's nothing to worry about. Ashley feels rejected. Until one day, in therapy, Sim says something that changes everything. It's not that I don't want to open up, I feel like if I do, I will collapse. If I stop being strong, what will remain of me? At that moment, Ashley understands. His ego is not the enemy, it is the protector of a scared inner child. Most men are like this. When a man loves deeply, his ego becomes even stronger, not weaker. Because it is designed to protect what he values most, his identity, his strength, his sense of masculinity. He fears being seen as insufficient or broken. Inside him is what Jung called the hero mask, the capable, logical, problem-solving self, but behind it is vulnerability. And that part only emerges when the guardian feels safe. What activates the guardian? Constant criticism, attempts to fix or correct him, distrust, emotional pressure, feeling not enough. What calms it? Trust, safety, acceptance without judgment, allowing him to be as... When a man feels, I'm not being judged or corrected, I am trusted, his ego softens. Second key, the secret of the word. Now you are ready for the word itself. But understand this first. It is not only the word, it is the energy behind it. The word is, I trust you. Simple, yet extremely powerful. Why does it affect a man so deeply? Because from childhood, a man learns that he is constantly being evaluated. Are you strong enough? Smart enough? Successful enough? Man enough? So when he hears, I trust you, something inside him collapses, not in a bad way, it in relief. It means, I don't need to fix you. I don't need to control you. I don't doubt you. I believe in your capacity. Story Elif and Can. Can is a successful but emotionally closed man. Whenever Elif tries to support him, he withdraws. Until one day she stops trying to fix him and simply says, I trust you. I believe you will find the best solution. Something shifts in him. His shoulders relax. His defenses lower. He says, no one has ever told me this before. Trust activates a man's purpose, not his insecurity. But there is a secret. If I trust you is said with manipulation, expectation, or fear, it becomes control, not trust. And the ego immediately detects it. True trust comes from inner stability, not emotional need. Third key, when to use the word. Timing changes everything. The same word can either trigger defense or create emotional openness. When it works best, when he is facing professional stress, when he is experiencing self-doubt, when he is making an important decision, when he is emotionally overwhelmed or tired. Example: instead of advising him during stress, simply, I trust you. I know you will find the right solution. Or, I trust your judgment. Or, I trust you whatever you decide. When a man feels overwhelmed by life, this becomes not just support but emotional grounding. Important warning. This is not manipulation. If used to control him or influence his decisions, it's because ego always detects intention. Fourth key, the real stories of transformation. A woman named Aish learns this approach with her partner Murad, a powerful but emotionally distant executive. Instead of pushing him to open up, one day she simply, whatever you are going through, I trust you. He breaks down emotionally not because he is weak, but because he finally feels safe enough to stop being strong. He says, you don't know what it means to me that someone trusts me without expecting anything in return. From that moment, he begins to open up emotionally for the first time. Not because he was fixed, but because he was trusted. Fifth key, the source of real trust. Here is the final truth. You cannot give real trust if you do not have it within yourself. Because people feel your inner state, not just your words. If your I trust you comes from fear of losing him, it is not trust, it is anxiety. And anxiety strengthens the ego instead of calming it. Story Daphne. Daphne tries to use this approach with her partner Honor, nothing changed. Until she realizes something deeper. I say I trust him, but inside I am terrified of being abandoned. She begins to work on herself. She learns to trust herself first. I will be okay even if he leaves. My value is not dependent on him. I am stable on my own. Then one day she says, I trust you, and I trust myself too. I am okay. This time, the energy is different, and he feels it immediately. because self-trust is what makes trust powerful. Final truth. A man's ego is not defeated by pressure, criticism, or persuasion. It is softened by trust, but not just trust in him. Trust that comes from a woman who is already whole within herself. When a woman does not need to be rescued, competed, or validated, her presence becomes powerful, and in that presence, a man no longer needs to defend himself. He can finally become himself.